So today, dear Dhamma friends, we are going to discuss this discourse from the numerical discourses of the Blessed One, Parihāna Sutta. The discourse on decline, even though that is the name of the sutta, we can learn about decline and also the development by studying this discourse. This is from the Sachittavagga Anguttara Nikaya, Book of the Tens.
There Sariputta addressed the mendicants. Mendicants, reverend, they replied. Sariputta said this, reverence, they speak of an individual liable to decline and one not liable to decline. But how did the Buddha define an individual liable to decline and one not liable to decline?
So here, this discourse is given by the chief disciple of the Buddha, one of the chief disciples, the foremost of with great wisdom, Arahant Sariputta Theru. So Arahant Sariputta Bhante was teaching the Dhamma that day to a group of monks and lay people. Sariputta Bhante was going to teach about what Buddha taught about Parihāna Dhammo Puggalo, the meaning of an individual, a practitioner who is not improving, who is declining in the Dhamma path. And also Buddha has taught about Aparihāna Dhammo Puggalo, a practitioner who is not declining, who is improving and developing the path, progressing in the path. Sariputta Bhante asked those monks, do you know the meaning of those two individuals, and do you know how one becomes somebody liable to decline and one becomes not liable to decline? So that means not everybody who enters this path achieves the progress, right? Only some achieve the progress, but others would miss the opportunity, would decline if they are not careful enough and if they are not serious about this path, and due to some other reasons, maybe they start associating with people with lower qualities or even bad qualities, or they listen to wrong teachings. Due to many factors, some of the practitioners would miss this opportunity, and they are called individuals liable to decline, right? So that is what Sariputta Thero wanted to teach those disciples that day.
Reverend, we would travel a long way to learn the meaning of the statement in the presence of Venerable Sariputta. May Venerable Sariputta himself please clarify the meaning of this. The mendicants will listen and remember it. Then listen and apply your mind well. I will speak. Yes, Reverend, they replied. Sariputta said this. How did the Buddha define an individual liable to decline? It's when a mendicant doesn't get to hear the teaching they haven't heard before. They forget those teachings they have heard. They don't keep exercising the teachings with which they are already familiar, and they don't come to understand what they haven't understood before. That's how the Buddha defined an individual liable to decline.
Okay. So when Sariputta Bhante asked those monks, do you know the meaning of the individual liable to decline and the individual not liable to decline? The monks were very humble, and they didn't want to say anything that came to their mind, or they didn't want to share any personal opinions or anything like that. They just wanted to listen to the those direct words of the Buddha as memorized by Arahant Sariputta Thero, right? So then they said, Bhante, we would travel a long way to learn the meaning of this statement in the presence of Venerable Sariputta, right? So if you can teach us out of compassion, we will remember the meaning of this. They were very humble, very well disciplined, and they respected very much the teaching of the Buddha. That is how the faithful disciples of the Buddha always act, respecting, honoring, venerating the words of the enlightened one. You can see that every time when you read the original discourses of the Buddha himself praises the Dhamma always, saying the Dhamma is the greatest thing in this world, in the other world, and Dhamma is praised by the previous Buddhas, present Buddha, and future Buddhas. Like that, Buddha always praises the Dhamma. And about great Arhan disciples, the Arhan monks and nuns, when they teach the Dhamma, they always praise and venerate and honor the words of the Buddha, the teachings, the Dhamma. They don't share any of their personal opinions, their personal views, or anything like that. It's always linked very well to the original, the discourses of the Buddha. And here also Sariputta Bhante explaining something already explained by the Buddha, and Sariputta Bhante had a teaching. That is why Sariputta Bhante says here, if you notice here this sentence, Kittavatānuko also Parihāna Dhammo Puggalo Vutto Bhagavata. Kittavata Chapana Aparihani Dhammo Puggalo Vutto Bhagavata. Vutto Bhagavata means as taught by the Buddha. As taught by the Buddha. Do you know the meaning of this as taught by the Buddha? That was the question put by Aran Sariputta. They always refer to the original source, the words of the Buddha. That is very remarkable thing. You notice that again and again throughout these discourses of the Buddha, because that is what is important for the entire world, not the words of an unenlightened person. What is important for the world is the words of an enlightened being, right? Because enlightened being, the Buddha, is the knower of the path, the discoverer of the path, the Magganyu, Maggavidu, Maggakovidu, the skilled teacher of the master of the path. That was very well understood by those great disciples of the Buddha, and they wanted the world always to hear the words of the Buddha, not any personal opinion or view. Okay. So then the Sariputta Bhante recognized their humility, and they wanted to learn. They were not there to argue or debate with Arahant Sariputta Thero. They were honestly, they had the desire to learn. So then Sariputta Bhante explained, this is how, again, Bhutto Bhagavata, this is how the Buddha explained about the individual liable to decline. And these are the qualities of that practitioner. Asutan cheva dhammang na sunati. Asutan cheva dhammang na sunati. That means this practitioner doesn't get to hear the Dhamma he or she has not heard before. That is not a good thing. That opinion leads to decline. What is that opinion? This practitioner thinks, okay, I have learned lots of Dhamma now, enough. I have enough Dhamma knowledge. So I don't need to learn anything else. I don't need to learn more. Okay. And even some teachers I have heard, they say, too much learning is not good for the mind. So you can just learn few discourses, and what is most important thing is just the practice, just the application of those teachings. So no need to study all these discourses. I have heard that. Maybe you also have heard some teachers saying that no need to learn that much of discourses, because they say the some negative things about Dhamma knowledge, and the Dhamma knowledge is not that important and like that. You can just learn the basic things, and then you can do the rest with the meditation, something like that. But think about these original teachings of the Buddha. This is somebody who has already realized the teachings, and who has achieved liberation. And what this Arahant Bhante is saying, through the teachings of the Buddha, if you don't get to learn new teachings, the more discourses taught by the Buddha that you have not heard before, that becomes a quality of decline. Okay, that means you don't have desire to learn more Dhamma. You don't have desire to study more, explore the teachings. You are satisfied with what you have already learned, and that kind of mentality does not lead to progress. Okay, and the second quality of decline. These practitioners, okay, what is that? Sutta chassa dhamma sammo sangachanti. That means these practitioners forget those teachings they have they have already heard. Okay, so these practitioners have learned some of the teachings of the, but over time they forgot those teachings. Why? What is the reason? Because they don't get to listen to those same teachings again and again. They don't repeatedly study them. They don't repeatedly contemplate on them. They don't repeatedly practice them verbally. What is a paricita? They don't practice them verbally, and that is not a good habit. Okay. Another quality of decline. Okay, so decline means, what is the meaning of decline? If it is an improvement of the spiritual path, it is the improvement of faith in the enlightenment of the Buddha. Somebody achieves progress in sila, in keeping precepts, and then improvement of Dhamma knowledge, sutta, and then improvement of making merit, giving dana, chaga, and then the improvement of the quality of wisdom, panya. So if you talk about improvement, it is the improvement of these qualities, right? Or it is the improvement of faith faculty. It is the improvement of energy faculty. It is the improvement of mindfulness faculty. It is the improvement of samadhi, concentration faculty. It is the improvement of panya, wisdom faculty, right? So this is how we learn about improvement of this path. So now you can understand the declining mean. What is the declining? That means the decline of the quality of faith, decline of the quality of sila, precepts. You lose interest in keeping precepts, and you find the the happiness of the fond of the association of people who break precepts. Then you understand These are the qualities of decline. And then another way to understand is you are declining from the quality of the mindfulness. You're declining from the quality of generosity. You're becoming greedy, and you decline the quality of wisdom. So like that, you can understand the meaning here, the declining. So when the new teachings are not repeatedly studied, and the teachings you already have learned are not contemplated frequently, the result is that all those spiritual faculties, if they were in the kind of seeds, right? Just about to plant, about to grow, and they will start dying. They will not achieve establishment or progress or any improvement. Another quality of decline is ye chassa dhamma pubbe chetaso asamputta pubba te chassa na samudacharanti. They don't keep exercising the Dhamma, the teachings with which they are already familiar. That means the teachings they have already learned are not frequently reflected upon. They are kind of forgotten. They are not always in the mind. They are not applied in the life. So they are like forgotten teachings. Maybe the reason is now sense desires have entered the mind, and there is no room for Dhamma contemplation in the mind anymore. Lots of sense desires, lots of greedy thoughts, angry thoughts have taken that space of the mind, something like that, right? Or the craving for praise and gain have overcome the mind. So the mind does not have that interest of reflecting on the Dhamma, and this practitioner finds happiness in other things, in other worldly things. These things can happen to anybody, right? Sometimes people find happiness with the Dhamma for some time, but you can find the same person after some, if they get some money, more money, if they become rich, powerful, and now they don't find interest in the Dhamma or learning the Dhamma or Dhamma discussion or associating with the people who are interested in the Dhamma. Now they have different group of friends. So maybe the people who always do parties and take alcohol, take drugs, and they become his friends, right? When that person was poor, didn't have money, that person was interested in the Dhamma. And we see sometimes some people, they become rich and they forget the Dhamma. They are not interested in anymore. So these things always happen. Another quality of decline is ye chassa dhamma pubbe chetaso asamputta pubbache te chassa na samudacharanti aviññātaṃ cheva na vijanati. Buddha explains, the Arahant explains, they don't come to understand what they have not understood before. That is how the Buddha defined an individual liable to decline. So these qualities lead to decline. Someone will fall from the spiritual path and miss this precious opportunity of achieving the liberation from suffering. We can understand every day from what we hear, what we see, how much suffering, even in this world called Sugati, right? Sugati means good destinations. So now you can imagine for someone to be born in a Sugati called a happier destination like human world or heavenly world. Buddha has taught us that individuals should have lots of good karma coming from past lives. Even for that being who has been born here with the much power of good karma, even that being experiences this much of suffering, right? Due to this, due to the nature of this existence of samsara. How much suffering is there, even in a happier destination? If you think about all these natural disasters, all the accidents happens daily. People get sick, people age, people die, physically and mentally. How much suffering is there in the world? And now you can apply this teaching to the entire existence. If this much of suffering is found in the happier destinations, how much suffering would it be there in the bad destinations? Can we imagine? There is an unimaginable pain and suffering in those painful destinations in hell, in animal realm, in ghost realm, unexplainable suffering. But unfortunately, Buddha has taught many human beings are going to be reborn in those places because of one thing, because of the defilements of the mind. That is the reason. Because of those defilements of the mind, people do bad things with the body. People say bad words with the mouth. People think bad thoughts. This is the reason. Okay. Next, Sariputta Bhante explains Kittavata cha panavso aparihani dhammo puggalo bhutto bhagavata.
And how did the Buddha define an individual not liable to decline? It's when a mendicant gets to hear a teaching they haven't heard before. They remember those teachings they have heard. They keep exercising the teaching with which they are already familiar, and they come to understand what they haven't understood before. That's how the Buddha defined an individual not liable to decline.
Okay, good. So these are the good qualities. These are the qualities we all should pay attention. Little by little, gradually, if we can give priority to these qualities, we are in the path of progress, not decline, right? So what are these qualities? Asutan cheva dhammang sunati. You get to hear the Dhamma you have not heard before. That means you have this um, unquenched desire to learn new discourses taught by the Buddha and his disciples, right? So we know that there are 18,000 discourses preserved by the Buddha and the great Arahants. to future generations. And we are here learning one by one. And if disciples of the Buddha have this unending desire to learn more Dhamma, that becomes a quality of improvement. So we have these courses preserved in these collections of Digha Nikaya, long length discourses of the Buddha, Majjhima Nikaya, middle length discourses of the Buddha, Anguttara Nikaya, numerical discourses of the Buddha, Samyutta Nikaya, connected discourses of the Buddha, Khuddaka Nikaya, minor discourses of the Buddha, right? All these discourses, and they are translated into so many different languages. And my teacher has translated all the 18,000 discourses from original Pali language to simple Sinhalese language. Bhikkhu Bodhibhante has translated thousands of discourses. And Jan Sujato Bhante has translated thousands of discourses. And many other Bhantes, translators, Ajahn Thanisaro Bhante, and many other Bhantes have translated thousands of discourses. Why? Because of these instructions themselves in the discourses. Because as true disciples of the Buddha, they understand that these teachings are the great guideline of the Blessed One himself. And these teachings are the things that guide the entire generation towards the ending of suffering, Nibbana. So they respect all those disciples of the Buddha, including great arahants, and all those past, the disciples who were in the past and the disciples in the present. They respect these teachings highly. That's why they want to preserve these teachings. That's why they want to translate these teachings into different languages. That's why they encourage reading these discourses, studying these discourses, sharing these discourses with others, right? Otherwise, they would say, why work so hard to translate all the 18,000 discourses? Just 5-6 discourses enough. They would say that. No, a faithful disciple of the Buddha can never say that. Because Buddha is the one who asked his disciples to preserve these teachings for future generations. Every word uttered by the Blessed One must be preserved. You can see that very clearly. They are well preserved in an unbelievable way in these discourses. So we are very fortunate. That is why we can practice these qualities of non-decline. If we had only 5-6 discourses, only few discourses, how can we develop these qualities of non-decline? Because there is a purpose of preserving thousands of discourses. And this is the purpose, right? What is the purpose? The disciples get to hear the Dhamma they have not heard before. So every discourse aims towards one goal, which is the liberation, Nibbana. And another quality of non-decline is sutta chassa dhammana sammo sangachanti. Okay, so these disciples, these practitioners, they have heard some teachings and they remember those teachings very well. They remember the teachings they have heard before. That means they discuss those teachings with their Kalyanamitas, with their spiritual friends. They share those teachings with others. They practice those teachings verbally. They study them again and again. They contemplate on those teachings. They know this is the most important thing in this world to learn, study, and contemplate. They understand the seriousness of it. All right. That's the quality of improvement. Then Sariputta Bhante explains about another quality. Yechasa dhamma pubbe chetaso asamputta pubba techasa samudacharanti. These practitioners keep exercising the teachings with which they are already familiar, right? So they keep contemplating the Dhamma, reflecting on the Dhamma, and trying to applying those teachings, giving them top priority. Another quality of non-decline is aviññātaññeva vijanati. They come to understand what they have not understood before. So because of this gradual training, they understand new things they have not understood before. And when they understand new things, they understand deep aspects of this teaching, the Four Noble Truths, dependent origination. They understand they are understanding the level of knowledge, level of wisdom is improving, right? So that becomes a quality of improvement, quality of development. And Sariputta Bhante explained that is how the Buddha defined an individual not liable to decline. Okay, so do you remember those qualities lead to non-decline? These are the qualities. So if we make an honest effort to practice these teachings, these factors, that would be really great. And the Dhamma path is secure. We are happy that we will not miss this opportunity. We are in the side of progress, right? So we should always respect these teachings very much. We should study them repeatedly. We should never think, I have learned a lot now, so enough now. We shouldn't think like that. There should be an endless desire to learn more and more Dhamma. Some people misunderstand the path like this. They think listening or learning is one part, practicing is another part, another another part of the practice, another another part of the path. No, don't think like that. Repeated learning, repeated learning until one attains nibbana is essential. If you think that learning is one part, practice is another part, then you think, okay, now my learning part is finished, it is completed, now I have to practice. Then you forget what we learned here now. It's not like that. This studying the teachings, contemplating the teachings, memorizing the teachings, these things that we just discussed here, Aran Sariputta Bhante explained, these things should be with us till we attain freedom from suffering. Learning, studying, contemplating is an important part of the practice. It's not that learning one thing, practice another thing. Never think like that. Learning, repeated studying is an important part of the practice. Okay. Sometimes I tell people, like, you repeatedly listen to YouTube and this news, that news, you'll listen to all these worldly things, you read all these worldly things, right? What is wrong with reading suttas again and again? What is wrong with studying suttas again and again? How much ordinary things we learn, right? Do we say for those ordinary things, worldly things, okay, now enough? No. Until death, we want to read those articles, we want to learn those things, worldly things. But those worldly learning, worldly teachings would not help us to create good karma, would not help us to take rebirth in a happier destination. Only these teachings would do that, right? I don't ask you to like completely stop learning those worldly things. It's up to you. But I am telling you what is going to help us to create good karma, what is going to help us to get happier rebirth, what is going to help us to attain stages of enlightenment. That is the teachings of the Blessed One, right? So I'm talking about this respect that we should have towards the teachings of the Buddha, and the attitude we should have about these teachings of the Blessed One. That is what is I am highlighting here. Okay? We should have that good attitude because this is the teaching that is going to help us one day escape from this suffering. So this is the second section of this discourse. And now Arahant Sariputta Bhante is going to explain about more qualities that lead to decline or to non-decline.
If a Mexican isn't skilled in encompassing another's mind, then they should train themselves. I will be skilled in encompassing my own mind. And how is a mendicant skilled in encompassing their own mind? Suppose there was a woman or man who was young, youthful, and full of adornment, and they checked their own reflection in a thin, bright mirror or a clear pool of water. If they see any dirt or blemish there, they will try to remove it. But if they don't see any dirt or blemish there, they are happy with that, as they have got all they wish for. How fortunate that I'm clean. In the same way, checking is very helpful for a mendicant skillful quality.
Good. So here Sariputta Bhante explains another aspect of understanding the qualities of decline and non-decline. This is really beautiful. Sariputta Bhante explains, okay, so there are some monks who can read others' minds. That means they are possibly arahants. They are already liberated. They have ended the suffering, right? Some monks can read others' minds. And Sariputta Bhante here repeats what Buddha taught. If you cannot read others' minds, then you should do something else. What you should do? You read your own mind. Isn't that a beautiful advice? If you make an effort to read your own mind properly, as shown in the Dhamma, one day you will be able to read others' minds. Because this training of reading your own mind will lead you to Nibbana, attaining Nibbana. When you attain Nibbana, you have ended all suffering. Sometimes you become an arahant with all those psychic powers, and one of those psychic powers is the ability to read others' minds. But now you cannot read others' minds. So what should be done? You be skilled in reading your own mind. Sachitta pariyaya kusalo bhavisami ti. Sachitta pariyaya kusalo. understand your own mind, encompass your own mind, read your own mind. Which is difficult, reading your own mind or reading others' minds? Which is difficult? Hmm?
Reading our own mind is difficult, Bante.
Oh, I thought it is easier because it is always with you.
That's true.
because because the our mind is always with us. It should be easier than to read others' mind, right? Because we don't know what is going on in others' mind. Sometimes people try to guess. People ask, "You are angry right now, are you?" People ask, and they say, "No, I am not angry." You are jealous at this, right? Aren't you? People ask, "No," you say, "No." Why you ask like that? You misunderstand. I'm not jealous. So we try to read others' minds and we fail. But if we make an effort to read our own mind, we are not going to fail. We are going to achieve progress in this path. And this is how to do that. The simile, the beautiful simile, there is a young, like a man or a woman, a boy or a girl, like to be adorned, fond of adornments, youthful. They always they think about their appearance, their look. So they always go in front of mirror and check if there is any dirt or anything that should be fixed. They do that and they remove any dirt from their face. And then when they understand that they are clean, they are good looking, they are looking gorgeous, they are so happy, thinking, Labha vatame, parisuddhang vatame. How fortunate that I am clean, I am so beautiful, I am so gorgeous. In the same way, evameva ko auso bhikkhuno පච්චවෙක්ඛනා බහුකාරා හෝති කුසලේසු ධම්මේසු පච්චවෙක්ඛනා බහුකාරා hoti kusalesu dhammesu. There is one quality that is very helpful, in terms of developing wholesome qualities. Sariputta Bhante said there is this single quality that is extremely helpful in terms of developing wholesome qualities. What is that single quality? Pachavekkana, reflecting the thoughts, checking one's own thoughts. Very helpful. Now, this part of the discourse is about the progress, right? How to achieve the progress of the path. This is very beautiful. So, how to do this? How to do this Pachavekkana? How to do this checking? Anabijjalunuko bahulang viharami. Now you check yourself. Like you are standing in front of the mirror. Now you look inside, not outside. You look inside about our own mind, not about what others do, not about what others don't do, not about what the others say, not about what others don't say, not about what others think, not about what others don't think. Rather, we look inside ourselves, our own mind. Anabijjalunuko bahulang verami. Is generosity often found in me or not? Do I have a generous mind frequently? Do I have a generous mind? Or do I have a greedy mind often? If you have books, now is the best time to write down this one by one. It's very important. These are the things we should check often. Often means many times during the day. Often means not once a month, not once a year. Often means many times during the day, right? Every day we should check. Am I living with a generous mind often or with a greedy mind? Second quality, you check. Abhyapanna chittōnuko bahulang viharami. Is loving kindness often found in me or not? What is inside my mind frequently? Is it loving kindness, metta, or is it anger? Is it vyapada or avyapada? Do I live with an angry mind often or with a mind of loving kindness? This is how to read one's own mind. And what is the quality of progress? If you find that when you, okay, now the results, test results coming, okay, and you realize, wow, I am living most of the time during the day, I am living with a mind of loving kindness. Hatred is not found, ill will is not found. Even if they arise, I would remove very quickly from my mind. And that's the result coming. Those are the results, the signs of progress. What are the negative results? And you realize, oh, most of the time I live with angry thoughts. It's very difficult to forgive other people. And we are going to learn what to do if the results are negative. We're going to learn uh, when we go to the next part of the sutta, okay? So don't worry, don't be sad if the results are coming negative. Don't get upset. Still, there are ways to fix, okay? Okay, reading your own mind. Next one. විගත තීන මිද්ධෝනුකෝ බහුලං විහරාමි සංවිජ්ජතිනෝකෝ මේ ඒසෝ ධම්මෝ උදාහුනෝ. Is freedom from dullness and drowsiness often found in me or not? How do I live often? How do I spend my time? Do I have a drowsy and sleepy mind, or do I have an energetic mind? What is in my mind? Is it drowsiness? It is sleepiness all the time? Or is it a delightful mind, energetic mind? So I have time to read these courses, I have time to listen to Dhamma talks, and I have I can do walking meditation when I am doing dishes, when I am doing gardening. I have an energetic mind. I still can contemplate on the teachings of the Buddha. How do I live? How do I spend my time? Good. Results are coming. Okay. Positive or negative? Happy results. Another one to check. Anuddhato nuko bahulang viharami. Is calm often found in me or not? Is my mind calm and peaceful, or is it scattered? Um, i- is it um, is it not unified? You check. If my mind is calm and peaceful, or is it full of regretful thoughts, remorseful thoughts? Is there a mm, scattered mind? Another one to check. Tinna vichikicchonuko bahulang viharami. Is confidence often found in me or not? What is in my mind often? The clarity about things or the doubts? Am I confident about the teachings, about this existence, the knowledge about how things exist? Or do I have lots of questions, lots of doubts about this existence? Was I before somewhere, before I came to this world? And what is this life? What will happen to me after this life? And who is behind this life? Who created this life? Like, what is happening? What is going on? Lots of perplexity, lots of doubts. Is my mind full of those doubts, or is there is clarity about things? And do I know everything clearly? How I came to this world and what will happen to me after death? And what is how does the cause and effect paticca samuppada works in me? How does the karma works? And is there is clarity about these things, right? So you check and understand. Another quality to check. Akko dhano nuko bahulang viharami. That means, is love often found in me or not? Do I have kindness in my mind often? Or krodha? Krodha means anger. Do I have anger in my mind often? Another one to check, okay? Reading your mind. Another quality, asankhilita chittonunko bahulang viharami. Is purity of my mind often found in me or not? A pure mind is found, or a defiled mind by sense desires, worldly pleasures, greedy thoughts, remorseful thoughts, right? Arrogant thoughts, conceited thoughts, all those impure thoughts. Do I have lots of those impure thoughts in my mind, or do I have purity in my mind? Often. This is the most difficult exam, because when we are checking like this mind is so tricky. Mind would say, no, no, you don't have anger. You are a very kind and nice person. These other people are mean people. They are not nice. Right? The nature of this mind is it always wants to praise us and blame others. So that is why this becomes the most difficult exam, reading one's own mind. We should not trust what mind tries to teach us, but we should trust what Buddha taught us. Another quality to check: labhinukomi ajattam dhamma pamojjassa is internal joy with the teaching found in me or not. That means about this Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, when I am reading it, when I am listening to the teaching, when I am studying, when I am discussing these teachings with my friends, do I experience a special kind of joy, rapture inside me? You know, when people talk about their favorite food, favorite clothing, favorite vehicles, you know, how much happiness they experience inside. They can they can keep talking about those topics for hours and hours. It's because they are happy about it, right? Because they experience happiness inside. That's why they can keep going, keep going, keep going, right? There's a similar thing happens inside me when I am reading the Dhamma, when I am listening to the Dhamma, when I am studying the Dhamma. Such kind of an spiritual joy, rapture, is it found in me or not? Okay, reading your own mind. Another quality to check. Labhinu komi ajatang cheto samatassa. Is internal serenity of heart found in me or not? That means samatha, okay? Samatha means, do I experience the calmness? That means freedom from hindrances in my mind. The the very powerful state of mind which is free of sense desires, free of ill will, free of regret and remorse, free of drowsiness and sleepiness, free of doubt. When the mind is freed from those hindrances, you experience samatha, cheto samatha. That means a mind that is going to achieve stages of jhanas, status of advanced meditative absorptions. You check if my mind achieves that kind of advanced concentration of the mind. Okay. Last quality to check. Labhinukomi adhipanya dhamma vipassana. is the higher wisdom of discernment of principles found in me or not? That means vipassana knowledge. Does my mind have the quality of contemplating the deep Dhamma, understanding the deep teachings, understanding the cause and effect mechanism, understanding the Four Noble Truths? Does my mind have that quality? You check, right? These are the qualities that we should check. All the practitioners should check. What is often in my mind? All these positive qualities or the absence of these positive qualities.
Suppose a medicant, while checking, doesn't see any of these skillful qualities in themselves. In order to get them, they should apply extraordinary enthusiasm, effort, zeal, vigor, perseverance, mindfulness, and situational awareness. Suppose your clothes or head were on fire. In order to extinguish it, you'd apply intense enthusiasm, effort, zeal, vigor, perseverance, mindfulness, and situational awareness. In the same way, they should apply extraordinary enthusiasm to get those skillful qualities. Suppose a medicant, while checking, sees some of these skillful qualities in themselves, but doesn't see others. Grounded on the skillful qualities they see, they should apply extraordinary enthusiasm, effort, zeal, vigor, perseverance, mindfulness, and situational awareness in order to get the skillful qualities they don't see. Suppose your clothes or head were on fire. In order to extinguish it, you'd apply intense enthusiasm, effort, zeal, vigor, perseverance, mindfulness, and situational awareness. In the same way, grounded on the skillful qualities they see, they should apply extraordinary enthusiasm to get those skillful qualities they don't see. But suppose a medicant, while checking, sees all of these skillful qualities in themselves. Grounded on all these skillful qualities, they should practice meditation further to end the defilements.
So, it's a beautiful discourse. It's amazing, right? So, when we are checking our minds, if we see all the negative qualities, right? What should we do? Or should we think, oh, I am very unfortunate, this Dhamma path is not for me. There are lots of defilements in my mind. Should we get discouraged like that? No, because there is a solution. This is the solution. While checking, if you don't see any of these wholesome qualities in you, what should be done? You should not cry. You should not get upset. You should not leave the spiritual path. What should be done? In order to get them, you should apply extraordinary enthusiasm, effort, zeal, vigor, perseverance, mindfulness, and wisdom. You should make a great effort. Keep practicing, right? That's good news, right? So we should never get discouraged. We should keep trying, because if it was not possible for a person who does not have any of these wholesome qualities in the mind, then Narahant Sariputta Bhante wouldn't have taught like this, and the Buddha wouldn't have taught like this, right? But Buddha taught, these are Buddha's words. Buddha said, if you don't see any of these wholesome qualities in your mind, that means what is in your mind often when you check? What do you see? Lots of time you see greed, right? You live with a greedy mind. You have lots of craving, lots of attachment, lots of desire for worldly things, material things, for money, vehicles, movies, songs, food, and all these things. You see lots of craving in your mind, lots of greed, or you see lots of angry thoughts, or you see lots of drowsiness and sleepiness in you, and you see lots of doubts. You have lots of questions about this life. You have lots of anger. You don't experience any clarity in the mind, any concentration. You don't understand deep teachings. Let's say that is the situation. Even if the case is like that, right? Even if somebody is in that situation, what is the message? One should not give up practicing the spiritual path. And you saw the simile, right? If your clothes or head were on fire, how much effort you make, how much wanting, how much desire you will, how much effort you put into that to extinguish that fire. Think about that. In the same way, make a great effort to cleanse your mind. You can do that. That is why the enlightened ones teach like that. Great arahants teach like that. You can do that. It is not impossible. Okay? And if you see some of the qualities are available in your mind, some of them are present, really good. Based on that, grounded on them, try to abandon the rest. And if you see all some qualities, the positive ones in your mind, oh, you are such a, then you can say you are such a fortunate being because you have already generated lots of good karma, right? So lots of generous thoughts, thoughts of loving kindness, thoughts of volunteering, thoughts of helping others, thoughts of gratitude. Your mind is energetic, and when you read and study the Dhamma, you experience internal joy, rapture. You don't experience that kind of happiness from other worldly things, and such a fortunate human being, right? So that is the Parihāna Sutta, discourse on decline from the Book of the Tenths. That is the wisdom of the enlightened one, and one of the chief disciples repeated the discourse previously taught by the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we share all the merit we generated today by going for refuge, teachable them, observing precepts, practicing meditation, reading the words of the Buddha, learning the Dhamma, discussing the Dhamma, and helping each other in many ways. We share all the merit with, first of all, with our teacher, Lokaswami Maharaj. Sadhu, sadhu. We share all the merit with monks and nuns in the world. Sadhu. We share all the merit with heavenly beings. Sadhu, sadhu. We share all the merit with our parents, teachers, family members, friends, and with all beings in this world. May all beings enjoy good health, long life, happiness, and peace.
Our Sarai Bante, many merit for a beautiful Dhamma session. We would like to share merit with Bante, to worship Bante, and ask for forgiveness that we have done something wrong by body, speech, or mind.
Okay,
Okasa Wandami Bante.
okay, Ant.
Maya katang punyang samina anumodi tabang.
Sadhu, Nandam.
Samina katang punyang maihang databang.
Sadhu, Nandam.
Sadu sadu anumodami. Okasa dwaratena katang sabang at chayang kamatami.
Come on, Kanta.
Okasa kamami bante. Dutiyampi okasa kamami bante. Tatiyampi okasa kamami bante.
Abhivadana Silis Nichang Madhavacharino Chattaro dhamma vadanti ayuvanno sukham balang airarobhya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti minate samijjato.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.